Hello everyone, this is Associate Professor Gatsnelby, Department of Gaming. I'm coming here to talk to you about my pup build that I have here and a very fun game, very hard game of Demon. As you can see, I have a P5 pup build, and my main focus with this build is boss damage and possession damage with survivors. And as you can see here, I have nothing spec'd into explosions. I just have things spec'd into basic health, basic balance bar, infernal revenue, these things. Now, what this build is supposed to help me with is basically once I'm done with a basic possessed unit, power possessed, I go into the survivor, possess the survivor, try to down the survivors, and then once that's done, then I summon boss, and then from boss, I go into the power possess again, and then it's just this continuous loop. But you're going to see this team play very well against me, and basically just counter my build entirely. Now, I could have spec'd into basic power, like explosion does more explosion on book, but this is not a book build, but I'm still able to win on book thanks to what ends up happening, and I'll explain what happens at the end. It was a very clutch moment, and I got very lucky, and it was all thanks to the survivors. I was able to pull this off. So right now I'm just working on flipping cars because my power doesn't come from the objectives. When I'm doing the objectives, I have no slowdown on the objectives. There's no reason to power possess on the objective. If I was supposed to use an elite, because I don't have health in my elites, I don't have balance bar in my elites. So basically what I'm trying to do here is flip the cars so that I can possess the survivors and continue the loop. Now this Hunter Ash, because of that, is going to have to choose between depossessing the survivor or the power possess, but you're going to see them do very well here, and only depossess the power possess. There is a time they do depossess me when I'm not in a power possess, when the Hunter Ash is by himself, but the team is so close by, it doesn't matter. So I'm flipping these cars. I know it's kind of off the side here, but it's better just to flip it and just keep looking for them at the same time. I'm just power possessing because, once again, I'm just trying to gain levels here. So I'm gaining levels, honestly, very slowly. I'm not finding a lot of chest here to trap, and I didn't want to stick around in dead end. I'd rather flip cars and have more power in the late game. My starting at the beginning game of this is not good for me with this build. I basically want to try and get my boss as quickly as possible, and once again, the reason I use a power possess is I use it to instill fear into survivors, not doing damage on them. I want to instill fear with them. They instill more fear, but I do have that perk in my skill tree to put more fear into survivors in any unit I possess. And it does help, but it doesn't help as much as a power possess. And once again, I'm just going through here trying to get rid of all the cars on the way from Dagger to Pages, and then from the Dark Ones, because those are going to be my times where I really shine. Now, as you can see here, there is a Ruby, which is going to be a huge counter to me, as well as Annie. Annie would be a huge counter as well to Pup, but those are just normal. Like, Ruby's a counter to every demon, but Annie would definitely be a huge counter to me here for balance bar and just overall damage to my units. So she would be able to kill boss very quickly. I was doing some damage testing, and I'll post a video of this later on, how much damage Ruby can boost, and she can boost, if she's spec'd into greater influence, around 28% if she has 50 souls. But as you see here, I just want to see if he has a sub, but it is a revolver. She has a repeating. I'm able to get a couple shots off, but it really doesn't matter because I'm not doing any damage. And so what this is telling me is this Ruby has no... she's not spec'd into damage. She's not even spec'd into... I think she's just spec'd into balance bar, maybe. So she's really focused on just supporting her team, greater influence, and then later on you're going to see the objective go very quickly because I have no cooldown, and it's able to go down very quickly because she has the perk that speeds up the objective by 15%. So that tells me what her build is, and because of that, they're unable to win on book, unfortunately, because all she does is boost 24% damage, and that's not enough for a Warrior Ash. Now, you're going to see this Hunter Ash play very well. He didn't get a lot of kills, but what he does is he drops his ammo every time I possess him. So I only get 2 shots. And I know he does this, but I still have to possess him just for the levels. Once again, we're going through just trying to level up as quickly as possible. And the Ruby's very good, and we just get depossessed, which is good because then we go into a power possess. But once again, they're very good at dodging, and Ruby increases stamina, regen, so we're doing no damage here. Because, once again, not spec'd into balance, we're spec'd into instilling fear. And this is where the support Ash really comes into clutch too against my build. Really, if you really want to counter my build, it'd be very easy. You just go Leader Ash, David, and, you know, Hunter Ash. Very easy to counter. The Hunter Ash, will depossess the power possess. You know, Dave would be able to take care of boss, so Infernal Energy Drain is really bad on it. And also, I'll be able to reduce fear at the same time. And as you see here, we're not going for heavies here. He's dodging the right attack here, as you see. Now, there's nothing I could do here because I'm getting shot from behind and I'm trying to get the down here, but it's all good. We want to just waste some shemps here and just get rid of cars, do our best I can here. Now he is using a legendary crossbow here. I like using the crossbow, but unfortunately, I'm not going to get a good clean shot here because they're going to shoot and walk at me at the same time. So I'm not going to be able to pull off a shot here, and I get depossessed. They're doing very good on working on the player possession here. If one of them's running at me, the other one is shooting at me to stun lock me, so I'm unable to do anything. So this is what I'm talking about. Teamwork is very important in this game, and this team really shows the importance of it. Now, you're going to see them dodge this very easily. I'm trying to waste... The Hunter Ash is using a lot of dodges. I think it's because, you know, he can, but he dodged right there. It's very easy to dodge. Now, you're going to see in the later game that when I use the AoE effect, I'm able to do another attack without being stuck in the animation of doing it. And the reason that happens is because they do too much damage to me while I'm doing that. And it ends up in my favor where I'm able to down one of them. And you'll see that later on. So I'm just trying to focus here. I can't even get a hit on them, so that's why I'm saying Annie would be better. If you can't hit the survivors, Ruby's is not the best support, and he drops his gun as soon as he's demon dashed. Very smart. So I just dropped the possession. If I was them, I would have let him keep the gun. That way we could depossess him, and I would have no Infernal Energy. But you could see later on that they're starting to learn my kind of loop here. And as they learn my loop, they're learning to counter me very easily. So now they're just looting here. There's nothing I can really do because as soon as I summon a unit, I'm going to be, unfortunately, not have enough Infernal Energy to possess it. And you see how little damage I actually do. right there. And that's because I'm not spec'd into that type of damage. If I was, maybe this game would have been easier. But because I'm not, yeah, I struggled a lot here. But honestly, I don't like playing, you know, try hard pup or whatever you want to call it. I'm just trying to focus this Hunter Ash because he's the only one I can really do damage to, unfortunately. So he's using the exploit, the Ruby exploit, which I'm fine with because then I end up winning because of an exploit. Not that I did it on purpose, but as you can see there, he's doing really good. But unfortunately, I'm not able to. I just get stun locked, so there's nothing I can do. I can get a couple shots off, but that support Ash obviously doesn't have range damage because I'm unable to do really anything to them there. So it's kind of a telling sign of what's to come. He is picked into melee, but it's not enough damage for the books phase, and so I need to focus the Hunter Ash to make sure he goes down, bleeds out. That way when he bleeds out later on, I'm able to make sure he stays dead. But they're really good at reducing fear here, and unfortunately there's nothing I can do there. He was too close to the trap, so it didn't go off. And so I see them going for the objective, but the Hunter Ash is staying behind for some reason. And I just want to get enough Infernal here. Yeah, this Hunter Ash should not be focusing on this. But he's good at dodging. Like, he's good at trying to, like... Once I understand his dodging pattern, it's kind of, like, easy to adapt. Right? But he just keeps dodging. Like, when he's in this position right there, there's a white arrow that tells you that he's going to go that way. Like, he's going to attack. And so he's got to depossess me here. And unfortunately, I just don't have the Infernal Energy to summon anything. So I try to go for the Demon Dash because I thought he was going to go straight to his team. But he waits even longer. So I decide to do something else. I decide to go back, get Infernal Energy from the objective, and then go for the kill with Boss. And while I'm heading over there, I'm going to get Kandarian Force, thanks to my boss. So I want to get maxed out here. And then I'm going to go back. But unfortunately, because it's on an incline, the lock-on mechanic is not good. As you can see there, it looked like he was close enough on the first hit. And then he goes with an amulet there. She does that. And as you see, she does a running shimp there. So that's why I feel okay with how this game turned out. It's all good. But we're putting a lot of damage on him, thankfully. He's not really dodging correctly, but the support Ash is there to save the day. And once again, we're trying to just waste the shemps here, waiting for my ability again, and I'm trying to force him to dodge there. And unfortunately, I miss the rock throw. I think he could have went down there if I did it correctly. And once again, it's just too much incline, but luckily my AI is really helping me out here. And so he has 2 shots here. He probably dropped his ammo, I can't tell, but I'm able to get a shot off. 238 damage, and then I just have to drop the possession, unfortunately. You can also see that Ruby has an anti-fear build. So she's, like I said, she's not spec'd into damage at all. And that's going to help me during book phase. Because, like I said, I'm not spec'd into damage for book. So because of that, I have to kind of focus on player possessions here. That's why this isn't the best build, and that's why you don't want to just focus on survivability with your build. I mean, you need to focus on damage too. Because if your teammate goes down during book phase like this, you're not going to be able to get the win. Now, you know, most survivors will probably say like, oh, pup is an easy win on book. But when you watch the gameplay of me, I'm hitting book a lot with the basics. I'm not using my elite because I don't do any damage with my elite. I summon my elite off point, and I really just focus damage with boss and the basics because that's all I have. And the explosions don't even do enough damage because I'm not spec'd into it. So they really struggle, unfortunately, at the end because they don't have the damage to deal with me. Now, this is kind of a mistake they make. They split up. The Ruby splits up from the team. Now, I know why she did. They need Shemps, and she goes to dead end for Shemps and supplies, while the rest of the team goes over here because she can loop there over railings and windows, but they can't loop here. So I decided to go for here instead of trying to focus the Ruby instead. Now, I unfortunately don't get the shot cleared here, and then my unit blocks my own shot and continues to block my shot, which is unfortunate. I could have went for the headshot there, but I didn't. And then there's a weird mechanic that happens sometimes when you're playing Demon, where you dodge and you immediately bring up your melee instead of whatever weapon you're using, like it is for Survivor. So unfortunately, I go for a heavy axe swing instead of shooting him backwards. Now, I know what this Hunter Ash is doing. He's not going to be having his weapon, or he's going to drop his ammo, and he's just running alongside. And I think they have ammo for him, and they waste the Shemp here, which is nice. Like I said, I want to focus him because they don't have damage. Hunter Ash is the only one that could do damage to me. And so he's able to dodge the AoE effect. But Ruby's not here to help with damage resistance and the dodges that he keeps wasting. So the stamina regen is really good here. And once I get this down, then I could just focus on making sure the bleed out happens. And the mistake they make here is that they should just focus on trying to go for the res. Like, they just keep trying to bait it out, and they're like a warrior and a support. Like, you're not going to be able to do enough damage to me unless you get close to me. So they should just bait. But they're not. And then Ruby makes the good play and decides to go for the objective here. Now I go for heavies like this. I wanted to do this so I could drop it and then possess him, but I didn't have enough Inferno, unfortunately. And then, yeah, I just don't have a good weapon here. So unfortunately, I just have this crossbow, so I decided to drop it instead. But yeah, I get knocked out of possession. I have no Inferno now. So by the time I try to possess the support, I should be too late. And as you can see, the objective is going by really quickly. It's already a quarter of the way done. And now I can't even possess him to use his revolver to kind of damage the Warrior Ash, because that's the thing I have. Like I said, I don't have any damage on my basics here. Now I could have done a running heavy or a light, but honestly it wasn't worth it. Now he gets lots of heals here, so I depossess. Just try to get as much damage here as possible. As you see, they can't really kill my basic. Now the one person I wanted to possess here was the warrior, not the support. So I just decide to drop it and know there's no car nearby. So I want to try and get the ruby, but the objective is just going by too quickly, and you're going to see the ruby be able to loot me very easily, especially with boss. I already wasted my power possession, so I thought, like, oh, let me get enough Infernal Energy here, and I'll summon boss, that way I can get Kandarian Force up. But it ends up to my disadvantage because it's just not enough, or I'm not doing enough damage. And that's because she has Tougher Than Hell, I think it's called. So she does 10% less damage with boss. or I'd be able to just melt through her with a pop boss. But I barely do anything to her. So she's like, her build is all focused around survival, which ends up being their downfall in this. That's why she didn't have to do her ability there. The reason she didn't have to do her ability there is because she knew she wasn't going to get enough damage taken to her when she got grabbed. Now, once again, I'm like, okay, he just doesn't have ammo this whole game. It is what it is. And I can't get close enough here. So I can't get close enough to him. So they're being very good with player possessions. Right. And you're going to see, even during the dark ones, the Ashe is not using ammo. They're basically playing this game like a ball match, where the hunter just doesn't do anything. And he's just there in case if I power possess something. And you're going to see him depossess one power possess because I try to go for the warrior Ashe very quickly because he's going to go for a fire and I want to stop him from doing the fire. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me try to stop him from doing fire and then also do a little bit of damage with a power possess. The little damage that I can do with a power possess basic, which is sad to say. I just have to wait for Kandarian Fury. I went ahead to their direction while driving the car, and so I flip it on the way there. That way they can't get it. Basically stalling them. That way you can get boss as many times as possible. Now, once again, I'm waiting for boss here because there's no reason to power possess, because if I power possess, it's just going to get immediately depossessed and I'm just going to lose Inferno energy anyways. So I possess a little bit off side here. That way I could wait a couple seconds and I don't just immediately tank damage. Once again, I don't get the grab because we're on an incline. He's trying to bait me into using an ability. Once again, but I'm able to get some damage. What the little damage I can do because of Rupee. I'm just trying to make him bait all his dodges, but it's just not enough. And Support Ashe does the smart thing and uses his ability to lower Hunter Ashe's fear, so I can't just depossess boss here. And so I'm basically dead, so I just have to wait for my AoE here. And kind of threaten with it. As you see, he's dodging out of control, but yeah, I see the warrior Ashe kind of like ran off by himself, and I'm like, okay, hopefully I can catch him and then use a power possess and just do enough damage and then wait for the depossession. But you see, this is going to be the problem I face here. Is that as soon as I do this, I try to bait his, yeah, so he goes into a finisher. I should just let him depossess me, but I wanted him to depossess because I thought he was going to use his ability. And if he had his ammo, I could have definitely got some kills there. I'm definitely very certain I could have done it. And then, so he just uses his ability because he knows that by the time I get my power possess back, he'll have his ability back. And so it's just this kind of Cold War situation where if I use my power possess, then he uses his depossession. So that's why you want to focus the Hunter Ashe too, because you're trying to make him use it. But, you know, with Ruby there providing that damage resistance and all those dodges, there's nothing really I can do. Unless if I'm expecting some damage, which I'm not. This isn't a video about me complaining about how shit my build is. Sorry about that. If it sounds like that, I'm just saying that as a Survivor group, this is how you should be playing. I am a Survivor main, and so when I see this kind of play, I really appreciate it. Now, unfortunately, I can't dodge. That's why I'm just taking these hits. Sometimes it happens when you're a demon. You just can't dodge with a Survivor because they're out of stamina. And that just carries over to when you possess them. I wish it wasn't. I wish you got your full stamina back. That way, because I see like really good survivor mains, what they'll do is they'll dodge out all their dodges, and then once they get possessed, their stamina regen doesn't happen when you're in a demon, so you're with 0 stamina the whole time. Now, I want to focus on getting enough Infernal Energy here again so I can get boss. That's what I'm doing. My play cycle has basically a wrench in it. And the only thing I'm able to do is use boss because they're maintaining their fear so well and because of the damage resistance that Ruby provides. So I end up having to use just only boss here. And if I did have a basic build, I would have a problem. And you're going to see how good this Ruby is at surviving. Where she dodges as soon as I become there, and then she knows it comes there. But thankfully, she dodged so close to me that I was able to immediately follow it up with a rock throw. But she's not going to dodge because it's very easy. She knows that what she has to dodge is the hit. Now, Hunter Ash keeps running off by himself, and thank God he wasn't in the aura, and that's why I was able to do so much damage there. But yeah, they're starting to get good at damaging here, and I just want to focus the Hunter Ash because he's off doing the Dark Ones. Which in my opinion, I think it should be the support or somebody else. Let's see. And then obviously I don't lock onto the right person. But that's fine. I power possess here, thinking he's not going to use his ability before, but he does. And once again, I need to focus him, but there's nothing I can do here. I should have gone with another shotgun shot, but I didn't. And I saw him drop his ammo there, so I'm like, okay, there's no real reason to possess, and then they just reduce the fear. So, nothing I could do. Once again, I go for a basic here, and I just want to focus this Hunter Ash because he's the only one that's going to be a problem for me in buff phase. Because the rest are focused on have surviving builds, and so I want to stay in him. I'm just hoping that I can do enough damage with this possession, but then I get shot out here. And they're checking for proxies too, so I wanted to wait until the slam, and then right when the slam was about to happen, I was going to possess him. But once again, nothing I could do, and this is where I get lucky, and I'll explain what happens here. So I summon basics there, and then I use boss, I use summon the elite there, and I want to focus him, and then they do so much damage to me that it negates my animation, and I'm able to kill him with rock throw. So then this becomes an easy game, because now I could power possess freely, but I mess up here and I don't hit book here, but I dodge again. And they just can't do enough damage to me, unfortunately. And then I summon an elite over there, and then I summon my basics. So that I can focus, but that also helped me because they're definitely not doing enough damage because she reduced her damage by 10% when she used her Lilith's Curse. So everyone's doing 10% less damage because she used that. And once again, I'll come up with a video talking about Lilith's Curse and Ruby. So now I'm able to just focus book here, and luckily my elite's hitting book here too. I'm getting very lucky, and as soon as I get the 4 hits, I switch out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you can see here, I'm able to just wail on book. Thankfully, even though my cooldowns are bad here. Now I don't possess, I meant to possess the elite, but it didn't happen. I got lucky. And that's because they're not really focusing. They're in full melee team comp, so they're not really focusing on clearing units coming. My elite's still alive there. And now I'm going to use boss, and they think like, oh, he's going to do AoE first. And then, yeah, there's no reason for me to do AoE until I'm at a certain point, and then I'm able to do rock throw, which actually does damage the book. And then I'm able to just get 1 hit on buck here, and it's a GG. So yeah, it was a very good game, but Yeah, you need to, even as a leader, you need to be focusing your build on damage. Quick study is not enough on Ruby, but they were a very good team, and you could see why. So thanks for watching.